Hey, Scott here, Scotty's Animals. I'm a volunteer at the LA Guinea Pig Rescue, and a question I get a lot is, what advice would I give someone who wants to start their own rescue? And the advice that I would give is, don't start your own rescue. Starting a rescue is extremely difficult, and there's so many things to worry about. That's why I haven't started my own rescue. So in this video, I want to talk about all of the things that it takes to run a rescue and why I prefer to volunteer at rescues that already exist. Now, if you're watching this video and you've been thinking about starting your own rescue, even if you eventually will start your rescue and the reasons why I list don't turn you off or don't strike the fear into you, then I would say first step is definitely volunteer at a rescue. Volunteer with a nonprofit or a rescue and learn everything that it takes to run a rescue. So I'm going to go through the list of all the things. Now, I wrote this down on a piece of paper because it's that many things and I can't just list them all off the top of my head. And there's probably more that I'm missing. But here's just some of the things that an animal rescue is going to have to deal with. First of all, they have to register as a nonprofit, and that usually involves fees and permits, state, local, county, what have you, fees and permits. So these fees might have to do with having animals, and there's going to be zoning issues. So you might have to comply with a fire code. What else? Okay. So as you can see, it's already starting to get crazy. There are fire codes, there's building codes, there is compliance with animal control. Okay, that's just on this one sheet. Then here's all the other things that I've listed that you're going to have to deal with, and it's a lot. So after you register as a nonprofit and you pay all the fees and get all the permits and you're in compliance, and usually that means some kind of inspector is going to come over to your where your rescue is, and they're going to have to check and make sure all these things are in compliance. Then you're going to need a staff. Now, either that's volunteers or a paid staff, but if you have a paid staff, now all of a sudden you're dealing with payroll. And if you have volunteers and myself included, we feel like, well, we can just come whenever we want. We can cancel when we want. We don't have the same sense of seriousness or obligation that a paid staff would. So you're going to have to deal with volunteers maybe not being able to make it all the time, or canceling on short notice, or a lot of times volunteers, they just want to pet the guinea pigs. They think, oh, I'm going to come over and just play with the guinea pigs. Well, that's not what it's all about, okay? So running a rescue, that means caring for hundreds of animals, okay? That means communicating with the public, because when you're caring for these animals, obviously you're not just keeping them, they are being taken in and they are being adopted out. And so that means constant communication with the public. Okay, so you have to facilitate surrendering and adopting. That means that you have to have someone there to take in the animals and someone there to help with the adoption process. And that means dealing with the public, dealing with the animals, making sure in and out that those animals are healthy and able to be adopted or are stable enough to come into the rescue. Now, and if you're anything like the LA Guinea Pig Rescue, that means that there are hundreds, if not thousands of people on a waiting list waiting to surrender animals that they got from the pet store or that they found, or for whatever reason that they are not equipped to take care of. And that is a huge responsibility. And just answering all of those emails and juggling that process is in itself practically a full-time job. So in addition to that, you need to be raising money for the rescue, because this doesn't run on fairy dust, and hand clapping. This is you're basically running a business and an animal hospital all at the same time. Okay, so to raise money, you need to raise awareness. That generally means that you have some kind of a social media or some kind of a community outreach so that people know that you even exist. Because surprisingly, you'll find that if you have even any kind of a presence, people will find you probably a lot of times by word of mouth, and they will dump animals at your doorstep and drive off. But when it comes to adoptions, people know all about the pet store, but a lot of people come to the rescue. They say they've lived in LA for years, they've had guinea pigs for years, and they just now found out about us. So, and that drives me crazy because we've been around for over a decade and raising awareness. You know, we've got the LA Guinea Pig Rescue has a YouTube channel of over 100,000 subscribers, and yet still there's so many people in the area that go to the pet shop that haven't even heard of us. So let's continue. Now, of course, this is already a lot to juggle, but now you've got to take care of the animals on a day-to-day basis. That means cleaning cages, feeding the guinea pigs. I chop veggies for all the guinea pigs at the rescue, and that alone takes me well over an hour chopping veggies and feeding. Okay, and you've got to feed twice a day, right? And you've got to chop veggies and give them veggies every day. You've got to clean and fill water bottles, and that takes so much time. Okay, so then there's buying the food, buying the supplies, and of course, the more animals you have, the more space you're going to need to keep all that food and supplies. So it's not just food, but of course you're going to need tons of food, tons of hay. You're going to need medical supplies. You know, even just things like antiseptic ointment and styptic powder, and you're going to need a station in order to take care of these piggies and do the health checks that are required. You see what I mean? You see how I'm getting overwhelmed just reading this list. Rescues don't make money. In most cases, the rescues are running at a loss. It costs more money than the rescues are able to take in with adoption fees and donations. So this is just such a huge undertaking before you say, get caught up in the, I definitely applaud you if you think that running a rescue is glamorous because you're my kind of person. But please volunteer at a rescue before you take one on yourself, because as you can see, it's so much work. But not just the work. We're talking about you're not making money. In fact, you're losing money. It's a non-profit, and you're spending all your time. Saskia and a lot of the people that I know that run rescues, they spend every waking hour solving problems, trying to raise money, trying to raise awareness, putting out fires, managing a staff. It's just so much work, and when you're losing money every month, it can actually cause depression, feelings of hopelessness. When you start to think about the fact that our mission is to save animals, to improve the lives of animals in need, and when you start to think about the fact that there's this never-ending flow of animals going to the shelters, animals being dumped at the rescue, it's just this never-ending flow. It starts to get you really depressed, because no matter how hard we work, there's always more animals being dumped on our doorstep. Hi, BB. There's always more animals being dumped at the rescue, and it breaks your heart. And so this kind of thing takes a strong will, a strong mind, a deep sense of faith, and it can be really depressing. So the reason why you probably got it in your head that you want to start a rescue is because the people, these rescue heroes that are running rescues, they make it look easy. And also, you've got to understand that in order to run a rescue, in order to raise awareness, in order to put themselves out there in the community, they've got to put their best foot forward. And so that means a lot of times that you don't see the struggle, that you don't see the heartache, you don't see the questioning whether it's all worth it. You just see the success and you just see the love. But believe me, it's not easy, you know. And like I said, I'm just a volunteer, but I can get so down when I think about, you know, I've made hundreds of videos. I volunteer hours upon hours of my time every week. I answer hundreds of emails. And still, it seems like there's no end in sight. It seems like I'm not getting through. I'm not, you know, when you guys send me emails and tell me that I have made a difference, that I have helped you take care of your piggies, you know, it really, that is the fuel that I need to keep going. But for every email that I get of someone thanking me and saying what a help I've been, I get so many more messages of people that are way in over their head, and it can be very depressing. So please, before you think about starting your own rescue, you actually help another rescue that is struggling to survive. So right now, I want to actually put the spotlight on another rescue that I've been trying to help for a number of years. I'm wearing the t-shirt. This t-shirt is from the Guinea Pig Sanctuary in Salisbury, Massachusetts, and they are one of the biggest rescues on the East Coast and one of the only ones serving the Northeast. And people travel from hundreds of miles, and there's so many people that are depending on them. The Guinea Pig Sanctuary is going through a lot of struggles right now, and they need our help. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Guinea Pig Sanctuary. Did you know that the Guinea Pig Sanctuary CEO is a 16-year-old kid named Alex? You know, a 16-year-old that is basically running a rescue is not really a kid, but somebody who's been forced into adult responsibilities way too early. But that's the kind of heart that Alex has, and that's the kind of determination that he has to improve the lives of guinea pigs. Along with his grandmother, Kimmy, who's the director of the rescue, they are really making a huge difference and saving so many piggies and finding homes for so many piggies. So I really hope that you can help me support the Guinea Pig Sanctuary. You may know that the Guinea Pig Sanctuary suffered a devastating fire a few years ago, and that thankfully they found a new place. Now, they had to go through all sorts of things in order to make that place compliant. Okay, so they passed a fire inspection, a building inspection, and an animal control inspection. They paid their fees, but many months later, those fees, the check wasn't even cashed. Now, after changes to rules, they've been hit with a barrage of code violations and things that they have to do to get their space up to code. They would have been grandfathered into these old rules after they passed all these inspections, but the Division of Shelter and Rescue didn't sign. This year, there were new codes put in place, and if they don't comply, they could be shut down. So basically, they need to have a quarantine room. They need a place where they can quarantine new piggies. That means that they need to run separate plumbing lines. They need to have a separate air system, everything that is running independent. So that means that they need to hire a contractor and a plumber. And so I'm putting the call out to you guys. Please, if you can donate, if you know anybody in the Boston or Massachusetts area that is a plumber, an electrician, or a lawyer, or somebody that can help them navigate these upgrades, that would be incredibly appreciated. So here you can check out the guineapigsanctuary.org, and I will put all the links in the description. The easiest thing, the simplest thing that you could do would be to make a donation through their PayPal or through the other links on their website. So I really would hope, I'm going to ask that you please do that. I sent them a donation today, and I really hope that you can too. Any little bit will help, and it also just helps them. Like I said, an email thanking me just gives me the fuel and the fire to keep going. And so any little donation that you can send them is going to give them the motivation to keep going. So thank you so much for listening. And like I said, I listed all of these things that it takes in order to run your own rescue. But there's so many rescues that already exist. Save yourself the heartache when we talk about all the time, all the money, all the energy that it's going to take you to start your own nonprofit, to staff up, to take care of all these animals. Instead of that, how about making a small donation that can reduce that burden that these rescues that already exist are going through? So please today, if you could focus your attention on the Guinea Pig Sanctuary. So that is the Guinea Pig Sanctuary in Salisbury, Massachusetts. So check out all of their social media. There's links on their website. You can follow them on Instagram. Please do what you can today to help me support them, because there are hundreds of piggies and families out there that are depending on the Guinea Pig Sanctuary, and they have nowhere else to turn. Thank you guys so much for listening. I know that these videos where I'm asking for help are not nearly as popular as some of the videos where, I'm just showing off some of my piggies. But you can always go to my latest videos playlist and you can see all about all my piggies. You can watch all the cute, fun videos. But before you do that, I really hope that you will make a donation to the Guinea Pig Sanctuary. It would mean the world to me, and it would mean the world to them. So right here is a link to the Guinea Pig Sanctuary. If you click this button, it will take you right to the Guinea Pig Sanctuary's website. Now, YouTube requires that I also put a video card. So here is a video playlist about guinea pig care. So it's all of my guinea pig care videos right here. All right, until next time, thanks for watching.